Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Burning Briefs. I'm your host, Class, and my co-host,
Mr. J.
Yeah, we back at it again. And this time we're going to talk about something that is coming up soon. And it's a real high anticipation.
There's a lot of anticipation for this.
And
especially with the fan base.
Yeah, especially in the fan base. Because we're talking about Mortal Kombat. If you've seen the trailers,
The new movie.
Yeah, watch the trailers. It looks like it's going to be good. It looks. But we've been deceived before.
We've been deceived before.
Okay, Godzilla, Bryan Cranston, I brought that up a little while ago back. That was a bit deceitful. So, trailers can be deceiving.
To be fair, I thought Bryan Cranston was going to be in the movie more. I'm just,
That's why. Misleading. So,
a little misleading.
Could the trailer do the same thing? Yes, it possibly can. Especially since if you watch the old first Mortal Kombat movie that came out in the 90s.
Let's be fair. Okay, hold on. Because I think I know where you're going with this. I speak for most of those kids in that era. We loved that movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Was it terrible? Yes. We didn't find that out till we got older and we realized it and we're just like, this is crap. It's a piece of my childhood, but it's still crap.
You know, the same thing would happen to me when I watched the Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Brothers movie. I watched that when I was a kid. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool because story,
Super Mario.
Crap, it was Super Mario.
Sense. No sense.
Nobody cared, but it was just the fact that they were the Mario Brothers and they were brought to life and all this crazy stuff. You were excited about it. Sadly.
You know what was interesting? This was an interesting thing they did with that movie.
What?
Because they didn't introduce Peach. They introduced Daisy.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. You know, bro?
Yeah, so it was one of the first times I think Daisy had been introduced.
Yeah, and
I don't know if it was the first time they had mentioned her or anything like that, but it was one of the first times, she was mentioned.
Yeah.
And Peach wasn't. Because everybody who watched the movie was like, Daisy? Who the hell is Daisy? I was like, where's Peach? It was just like, oh yeah, she has a sister named Daisy.
Yeah, maybe they wanted to lead her up to the sequel. Who the heck knows?
The movie ended on a huge cliffhanger that was made you want a second one, but there was never a second one.
No, there was never going to be a second one after that travesty. But that's what Mortal Kombat is now. Like in the 90s, it used to be nostalgia for the younger generation. I used to watch it, thought it was bad to the bone because it's like all these crazy things happening. Scorpion scene was my favorite part, seeing him with the. But then when you get older, you start realizing movies matter.
Oh yeah.
And the quality of what the story is being told needs to be done right.
You sit there and you ask yourself, why did it turn from a regular kunai or the little rope spear?
Yeah.
Why did it turn from that to this living snake thing that comes out of his hand? That was never mentioned in the game. Ever. All it was a little kunai that he would throw out, get over here, bring him back.
All of a sudden it comes out of his hand.
And it's living. It's why?
And let's not forget the dimension of going to hell or something.
But that's just an actual thing in their realm.
Yeah. But I mean, what it looked like, the setting in it, it looked...
It didn't look...
It looked like a Rob Zombie music video. And it wasn't really exactly realistically a dimension where I think this is hell.
It was just dusty with a bunch of skulls everywhere.
Yeah. No one had to come clean that house that day. It's all some nerd's basement.
Just make it look like there was fire and put skulls. They're gonna know. Just put a bunch of stuff in.
And their mom's in the background. I don't want you putting skulls in my basement. Mom, let me do what I want.
Mom, I told you I'm filming. It's a big movie, Mom.
Big budget.
Who did that movie? Universal?
I have no idea, dude. I think it might have been Universal.
I think it was Universal.
Either way, whoever did it,
it was a big production though. It was a big company that did it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, later you find out it was a low budget thing. And it was just but it was Universal or whoever did it.
Yeah.
So it's how does that produce low budget?
Yeah. That's the thing. You guys obviously at some point
you're gonna put our name on it, but we're only gonna give you this amount of money. It's and you wonder why it didn't turn out right.
Yeah. It's almost like you guys was look, you're paying us for the brand. That's what it is. You're paying us to put the name on there.
But I mean, to be fair,
but at the end of the day,
I I don't know if you could have done much to save that movie.
No, you couldn't have.
Because it's like every time they got into a fight scene, Mortal Kombat, you know, it's like, all right, do we need to do the song every time? Every time? Okay, every time. Every time.
No, it's pretty. That's why right now the anticipation for the new one.
Have you ever seen that song turn up in a club?
No.
Dudes don't know whether they want to dance or fight. It's the funniest thing. I don't go to clubs, so I've only seen it a couple times. But when it happens, it's hilarious.
I think that's why a lot of people are nervous about the new one. I'm nervous about the new one. It looks good. Like so far it seemed enticing enough.
It makes it look like Sub-Zero is like the main villain, the main antagonist in this movie, which, I mean, I'm kind of okay with, because wasn't it the first Mortal Kombat, the game, where like he was like the main bad guy you had to beat? Well, besides Shao Kahn.
Yeah. Sub-Zero was the guy to beat. And that's the thing, they're trying to keep some of the storyline in some way in the retrospect into the movie, which is good. That's already a good start. And plus the characters look like the characters. Mm-hmm. It seems impressive. And so far the story arc sounds like this ancient tournament. So far I just watched the movie about King Kong and Godzilla, and it was talking about ancient, stories too. Mm-hmm. I don't mind that. Make the BS stuff. Why not? I mean, you got to make it realistic. We're not just going to say some random game showed up out of nowhere,
Yeah.
No, it was from the beginning of time. That's great. So far, I like that idea of the concept, and I love all the characters that look like they're going to do their part. I don't know how I feel about Liu Kang.
I have seen the cast for most of the characters that they've picked. I have to say, I don't know any of them. I know one actor who's playing, and that's because that's my character. Every time I play this game, I pick that character. Some of you know me. You've played with me on this game. You already know. Scorpion. The gentleman who's playing him, I cannot say your name,
but he was in a lot of great movies.
Yeah, he's done a lot of great roles.
He was in The Wolverine. He was in
The Wolverine, Endgame.
The Last Samurai. Yeah, Endgame.
He was in Endgame for like 2 minutes.
He was the head mobster guy
head Yakuza.
with the sword, and he was pretty bad, and he fought Ronin, who was Hawkeye, but not in this version of the story, I guess.
Anyway.
But besides the point, but that's why Mortal Kombat.
He's the guy that's playing Scorpion.
Yeah, and so far everything about the trailer is giving me hope, but obviously we're nervous. Everybody's going to be nervous about the movie because we've had our hearts broken before.
It seems in this one, like in the other movie, Liu Kang was the main character.
Yeah.
Liu Kang was the main character. Everything's centered on Liu Kang and him trying to get revenge for his brother's death, and Shang Tsung. Everything's centered around that, and like he's the chosen one. In this one, it doesn't seem like he's the main center of attention.
Yeah.
It seems like they're primarily focusing on the rivalry or the bad blood between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I base that basically off of everything which you see in the trailer. Every time you see the trailer, you usually see more of Scorpion and Sub-Zero and their little back and forth. Also, they're all over the movie posters everywhere. You either see Sub-Zero or Scorpion, or it's like a collab of both. And it seems like that seems to be their main focus.
Yeah.
Is the fight between those two, which I'm totally okay with.
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with it.
Will they be better than the original? I want to say yes.
I want to hope so.
I want to hope for that.
I mean, the bar's low.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's be real. Those of you who know the genre, who are fans of the fan base of the game, the movie, the bar is low, especially for the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wait, I have to make a better Mortal Kombat than the one made in the 90s? Wait, 1 or 2? It's like, either way, the bar is low. If it's the second one, the bar's even lower. I mean...
the second one was fudge. What the heck, man? Look, in this one, it looks like there's a lot more of the characters you get to see that you're familiar with. And on top of that, I got to see, I think it was Katana with the mouth. Forget.
Melina.
Oh my God, it was awful seeing her like that. I saw a little taste of that, and I was like, oh, good. This one's gonna be, and I think it's gonna be rated R.
Melina was mentioned in the other movie, but she was mentioned in the sequel. And, you know, by then I feel like it was already kind of too late. Melina's actually one of those characters I feel needs to be introduced early on, you know, because she's actually, in my view, from my perspective, she's actually more important than you realize, being that she is Katana's sister, even, you know, and then they have that rivalry with each other.
Yes.
And, but anyway.
But no, that's the thing though, like the fact that there's even a scene where Jax gets his arms cut off and stuff like that, or ripped off. You gotta see the trailer. It looks more gruesome, which means I gotta think that it's gonna be more rated R, which means it's gonna be better. Rated R movies, in my point of view...
Wasn't it rated R in the first one?
I don't know if it was. If it was terrible because I didn't see much of a point to make it rated R. I see more PG-13 than rated R to me.
Oh, yeah, it's probably PG-13,
you know?
yeah.
Because...
Mortal Kombat needs to be rated R.
I feel like when you're going to make a franchise like a gruesome movie about gruesome characters like from the DC world, or you're going to make video games about characters that are bloody... You gotta do it right. Like Deadpool, rated R that mother. Alright? You gotta do it.
The only reason
do it!
The only reason I will say I agree with you, and I will say, is because, look, we all know one word that is like unanimous and pretty much well known throughout Mortal Kombat, and that's the reason you need the R rating, and that is fatality.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, it's gory. The game itself is gory. So if the game itself is gory, make the movie gory.
Yeah.
I mean, don't make it all over the top gory.
I remember playing with someone in like one of the newer versions of Mortal Kombat. I think it was like Mortal Kombat 10 or 11. And this person basically hadn't seen the game played since like the first or the second one.
Wow.
So, being thrown into this new rendition of it, and they were playing against me, and they were seeing how good the effects are, but also how bloody and how gory. And they're just like, oh my god, this is slightly horrifying.
Yeah, because they never realized back in the day when you saw the game, did you see all that blood coming out? Because it was so cheaply graphic, you know? You didn't have detail.
Before, they were like two little guys, and they were far away, and you couldn't really make too much out.
And then they fight.
And like now, they like do close-ups, and they do x-rays where like you take the bone and you see it snap.
Yeah,
and you're just
it's
like,
pretty gruesome. It's gruesome.
They have stepped up the gore and the brutality and you know, turned it up a little notch.
Yeah.
And, you know...
And they got to do that for this movie.
Being in Mortal Kombat, it's like, well, how do you do that? And, you know, like I said, they did it. And found a way. That's
the thing about this movie so far. It seems like they're going for the rated R, bloody kind of, we're going to give you what the game gave you. And that's what we need. I mean, look, I know you're trying to go for the younger audience, but let's just get realistic. You're not going to get the younger audience. The younger audience is going to have to get an older adult or something to go and take them if they are eager enough to go. But other than that, leave it be. I think this movie has potential to be good.
The younger audience, I think, will go to the movie and see it, but that's just because they're fans of the newer games.
Yeah.
Because that game still has a huge fan base.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt. It's Mortal Kombat. By the way, the storyline in the game's even great. Like it just is.
Let's not bring up the storyline of the game.
Like it? I don't know.
I'm not gonna say I don't like it.
I like the recent one.
We all know that storyline got so convoluted and so nuts and just so many things different happening. I think they rebooted it.
Oh, really?
They like redid it in the game. They're just like, okay, the storylines, they're not making sense anymore. They're nuts. We're gonna make this game, and when we make this one, this resets everything.
Yeah, so far I've seen
they flashpointed it.
Yeah, I've seen like dimensions and people coming back from old realms and new people running, ruling. Yep. It's. I think it's interesting enough, but the movie I think is not gonna go that. Yeah, it's gonna focus on Scorpion, right? Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna primarily focus on Scorpion and Sub-Zero. That's just what I'm gathering based on the trailer and how the movie's really being marketed, you know, and how it's being shown.
Yeah.
Like I said, every time you watch the trailer, I think one of the last things you'll see is I am Sub-Zero, you know, and the guy who's playing Sub-Zero. I don't know his name, but that's usually one of the last things they show. Plus, they're all over the movie posters. You know, everything that's being shown and it's being marketed about this movie primarily seems to be focused on Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yeah, so do you have hope for this movie?
I do. But that's just because, you know, nostalgia and I'm a big fan of the fan base.
Yeah.
I have big hopes.
But we can be honest.
But the bar's low.
I'm going to be honest. The first movie was not that great. When you're a kid, it was great. When you're older, it's not. the sequel is not redeemable. That's why I didn't get another one. And now this reboot is probably going to be better. It's obviously going to be better than the original ones. But will it be better enough to make a sequel? Will it be better enough for a fan base to get on board from the video game realm to the movie realm of these characters?
Yeah,
that's the $1 million question.
Well, another question is, okay.
Or $1 billion question.
If it gets the sequel, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But the other movie got a sequel. So would this movie need to get a third?
Well, that's the thing.
To be considered better?
When I used to do movie reviews, I remember the way to figure out if you're going to get an opportunity at another movie is budget. If the budget was decent and the box office was a success, you made more money on the box office compared to the budget, then they'd give you a sequel. But if you're making low ratings from domestic to worldwide, they're not going to give you that sequel. They're not going to risk it. Look at Green Lantern.
The box office does matter, but then there's other movies where they're kind of able to get around that.
Wait, aren't they Warner Brothers that did this game? The movie?
Warner Brothers, I think, does some of the game.
Does it do this movie? Is it doing this movie?
I don't think it's Warner Brothers.
Because I feel like they could do the movie. Like, their way of doing the movie could be doable.
I'm not sure. Honestly, I would need to look it up. I don't think it's Warner Brothers, but I know Warner Brothers has worked with NetherRealm, which is pretty much like
because they had
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, they had DC versus
engine.
They had DC versus Mortal Kombat.
Their maker.
So I feel like if they collided with them, there's a possibility they may have part in this movie. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I know Mortal Kombat did a game with Warner Brothers and where they fought the DC universe.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I feel like there might be maybe a connection. Maybe they did this movie. I really don't know. I think they did.
We need to look at it.
We need to look into it. But as far as potential for this movie, he's hopeful. I'm hopeful. Nostalgia wise, we're very hopeful. I think you guys should be hopeful. I don't think there's been anything that shows really, that this movie doesn't have potential.
For the younger crowd, they have nothing to lose.
Yeah. They
have nothing to lose. If you're fans of the game, go watch the movie. But for the older crowd, we're the ones that are just like, do I want to do that to myself again? Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it, you know.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Hopefully, you know, you guys, the ones that are fans, and the ones of you who have been through it, the first two movies.
Yeah, hopefully
you'll make it through this one.
But anyways, we'll leave it at that note, guys. If you guys enjoyed this, please share, like, subscribe to the channel. Watch Mortal Kombat if you guys want to. We're not promoting it.
We're over here.
Suggesting it. Alright, catch you guys later. Peace.